So thank you. Thank you so very much. And also a thank you to each of you for choosing to invest your time and choosing to invest in yourselves by participating in Generation W. Today will be a phenomenal day. And so it was several months ago that I received the telephone call from Donna Orender inviting me to contribute once again to this extraordinary day of uplift. And I was overjoyed. Yes. And during that conversation, Donna, with her trademark energy, excitedly told me about the theme, #transformation. And then she tasked me to speak specifically on transformational leadership, which kind of makes sense given what it is that I do for a living. You see, I have the privilege of teaching and guiding some of our nation's most brilliant military leaders. Yes. Amazing folks who do incredible things to protect our country and keep our families safe. And certainly many of them would be considered transformational leaders, people who have a sustaining impact on others and their environments, leaders who elevate their surroundings and inspire others to participate in the process. But I also have a confession to make. When I hear the words transformational leader, I often think, yeah, that's not me. And I'm guessing I'm not alone in that, yes? When I hear the words transformational leader, I think of these amazing folks, these forces of nature that do what we mere mortals simply would never think of doing. You know, people like Steve Jobs, who dreamed up the iPhone, or Oprah Winfrey, who impacted millions of lives through her talk show, or Nelson Mandela, who united a nation after years of brutal apartheid. And then there is Kristen Grice and Shay Haver, who in 2015 literally transformed the United States Army and military attitudes by successfully completing a physically and mentally grueling months-long combat arms training course called Ranger School, thereby becoming the first female U.S. Army Rangers and infantry officers in military history. Can you say #transformation? So when we juxtapose ourselves against folks like these, it's no wonder that many of us have a difficult time seeing ourselves as leaders with the power to transform. However, here's the thing. More and more I am finding that it is inaccurate to assume that only great people can do grand things. Arguably, there is a transformational leader in all of us. You see, I have found that our ability to transform, that is, our transformative power, comes from living out our passions. That thing that we enjoy doing the most, that thing that brings us the greatest fulfillment, whether caring for our families, working with those in need, pursuing our professions, or even engaging in our favorite pastimes. When we surrender to our passions, we are guaranteed to make a difference. And it is in that difference that transformation and transformational leadership happens. You see, too often we restrict the idea of transformation to grand acts shaped by visionary thought and determined by some larger purposeful action. And while that may very well be true in many circumstances, it doesn't always have to be the case. Sometimes transformation just starts as a small idea that simply changes someone else's experiences for the better and allows us to have a sustaining impact in unexpected ways. My point is this. When we strive to live out our passions and we reshape the way we conceive of transformation, we are positioned to release the transformative power that lies within us. And it is through that transformative power that we are able to have an impact on others and our changing world. Importantly, in order for us to transform our surroundings, we must also be willing to transform ourselves. When we grow, our passion grows. And when our passion grows, our power grows. And when our power grows, so too does the depth, the breadth, and the scale of the transformation we can engender. In fact, I have found that many times our first opportunity to release our transformative power may only be the starting point for the transformational impact that lies ahead. Fast forward more than a decade, and one day I was sitting in my office at the university when I received a telephone call from someone at the United States Naval War College who essentially said, "We're looking for someone to help us with X, and you have been brought to our attention. We're calling to see if we can convince you to move to Rhode Island." Wait, what? Right. 3 months later, I was living in Rhode Island, transforming from an undergraduate business school instructor to a professor now charged with teaching and guiding mid-level and senior military officers. And where my undergraduates were just entering adulthood, these were folks with 15 to 24 years of military experience from all branches of service: Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, as well as some of their civilian counterparts from the State Department, the FBI, and the CIA. All very accomplished folks. Now, while I did have some limited experience in other military environments, and I could employ my passion for teaching, it was clear that this new role would be a whole new ballgame. And there was much that I didn't know and understand. And so in order for me to become the transformational leader needed to guide these very accomplished professionals, I had to seek out opportunities for me to develop and grow. And so it was within this aim that several years into my tenure at the Naval War College that I participated in a leadership summit at Duke University. The summit brought together thought leaders and leaders in their respective fields to share insights and gain perspectives. Now, such insights would be particularly useful for me because, in addition to teaching, I also served on a team who had the responsibility of advancing the way the Navy develops its people as leaders. So are you following this transition? I had to transform from a university professor to teaching military officers, now to someone who understood how to develop people, which, as it turns out, just allowed me to apply my passion, my teaching and learning skills, just in a more advanced way. When we grow, our passion grows. Interestingly, also in attendance at this summit was the Vice Chief of Naval Operations. And let me put that into context. The Vice Chief is a 4-star admiral. There are only 11. 4-star admiral, number 2 person, second in charge over the entire United States Navy. Yes, he is a big deal. But he also happens to be a very nice person. So over the course of the next 2 days, the Vice Chief and I had several great conversations about Navy leader development, what our team at the college had learned, different ways to teach and educate people, what he saw as the biggest challenges facing Navy leaders. To be honest with you, that entire encounter, him, me, was surreal. After all, I am just a teacher living out my passion. 7 months later, I was once again sitting in my office when I received yet another telephone call. This time, it was the vice chief's lieutenant, his military aide. And she said, "Ma'am, the vice chief will be in town on X day, and he would like to invite you to join us for dinner." Oh my goodness, what? Wait, what? Yes, of course, thank you. And then I got really bold and I said, "Can I bring a colleague?" You see, I have a partner in crime at the Naval War College, a old goat of a retired Navy captain who I love dearly. And he is as passionate about Navy leader development as I am about teaching and learning. And together we make a powerful force. Because here's the thing, transformational leadership does not have to be a solo endeavor. Transformational leadership absolutely can be a team sport. So my colleague and I, we joined the vice chief and several others for dinner at a local restaurant, and it was amazing. We spent 3 hours just talking about effective and ineffective leadership, the best way to develop Navy people as leaders. We challenged opinions and we shared perspectives. At one point, I even found myself pushing back hard on some of the vice chief's views. How crazy am I? Now, some of you may be wondering, how in the world did she find the courage and the confidence to challenge this very, very, very senior military officer? It's a good question. And the short answer is this: we were playing in my sandbox. And what I mean by that is, we were talking about the thing that I know best. Teaching and learning is where I live, right? Don't mess. Now, if we had been talking about war fighting, then I got nothing, right? The point here is that as transformational leaders, we must trust in and have confidence in our own knowledge and abilities. We have to know that we know that we know that we know. Because after all, who knows what you know better than you? Just saying. 2 months after that dinner, the vice chief floored us. And he directed, because that's what you get to do when you're at the top, he directed our team to develop and execute a week-long leadership course, wait for it, not for sailors, not for mid-level officers, but for 2-star Navy admirals. When our passion grows, our power grows. Our team had to develop this course from scratch. It had never been done before. We had to develop everything from course content to logistics, and we had to deliver this course in 4 months. And I was given the responsibility to lead this entire effort. #transformation. Truthfully, I'm not afraid to tell you, I was terrified. Terrified. After all, I am an undergraduate business school professor who is being challenged to transform into a teacher and leader of senior military officers. But here's the thing. We cannot let fear keep us from transforming. It is impossible to release our transformative power if we let fear hold us back. And it is up to us to figure out the best ways to overcome those fears. For me, it's my faith. Maybe for some, it's practicing mindfulness. Or maybe for others, it is the encouragement that we receive from family, friends, and mentors. Or maybe it is deciding to focus on small wins and just take things one step at a time. Whatever our strategy, we must ensure that it is our passion that always prevails. That said, I am happy to report that our inaugural leadership course for two-star Navy admirals was a success. And we just finished executing the course for a second time. We learned from our first try, and we got much, much better. In fact, several of the admirals this time said it was the best course that they had ever had in their entire Navy career. Hashtag transformation. Who knew? Who knew that when I began teaching at a small business school in the South, that one day I would be charged with leading the effort to transform the way the United States Navy develops its senior-most leaders? Certainly not me. But that's the thing about transformation. Sometimes we never see it coming. It just simply evolves. Our challenge then is to stay true to our passions, involve others in our process, and work to overcome our fears. Because I truly believe that every person in this room has the power to transform something. And when we strive to live out our passions, we just might surprise ourselves and realize that we are transformational leaders after all. So let me leave you with this. Back to that original telephone call from Donna. After we hung up, I began reflecting on the theme, hashtag transformation. And somewhere down the line, it occurred to me that there are actually two parts to the theme, the word transformation and the hashtag. So this led me to wonder, what is a hashtag? What does it do? Who gets to create a hashtag? And since I am no social media expert, I had to look it up. Here's what I learned. I had to write it down. When properly used, a hashtag serves as a point of emphasis and an identifier. A hashtag is interactive and involves others. It spreads information, it educates, it facilitates conversations, and it creates community. At its core, a hashtag makes something matter. Moreover, a hashtag is self-determined. Anyone can create a hashtag. It doesn't require permission, and there are no restrictions on its length or construction. A hashtag can be anything we want it to be. So this led me to think, what would happen if we transformed into our own hashtag? That is, if we put a hashtag in front of our own names, hashtag Olenda, hashtag Chelsea, hashtag Jonathan. If we became our own hashtags, we get to represent our own passions, we get to secure our own identity, we get to leave an imprint for others to follow, and we get to have a transformational impact on the world around us. And as our own hashtag, we get to be anything we want to be. We get to decide our own values, discover our own talents, and distribute our own goodness, self-determined on our own authority and without restriction. And if we see ourselves as our own hashtag, we in effect embrace the transformational leader that resides in us. So how about this? Hashtag transformation and hashtag me. Go ahead, release your transformative power and be the transformational leader our world needs you to be. Thank you very much.